Right then guys, it is time for me to review the most shocking episode of Wentworth I have ever seen. Okay guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life, the YouTube channel that talks everything Wentworth. I just have to issue a massive spoiler warning guys. This episode was titled Under Siege Part 1 and it was the biggest episode of the series so far. And guys, it was truly fantastic, but it ended on a very shocking cliffhanger. If you haven't seen the episode and you don't want the end of this episode spoilt for you, stop watching this video now, because I'm actually going to be showing a clip of the very last moments towards the end of this video. So let's get started. So aside from the siege that is happening in this episode, there were a few things that happened before it started. So let's just start with these. So the episode begins with Will taking Mari out of the cells once again for a shag in the governor's office. But unfortunately for Will, Vera has turned on, basically she's made a phone call to the office, put it on loudspeaker, she's gone into another room and she hears absolutely everything that's going on. So the cat is well and truly out of the bag at this stage, and the next day Vera basically tells Will that Mari is being transferred and she wants him to sign the papers. When he refuses, Vera's like, I know what's going on, I know what's been happening. And Will being Will this season, he tries to justify it in some shape or form and basically says that, well, Vera took Rita out of the prison to visit her sister. Which, to be honest guys, is nothing compared to what Will has been doing. And then Vera, which I loved, just literally said, at least I didn't bury a prisoner alive. Yes, Vera! I fucking love Vera. Absolutely amazing. So Vera basically tells Will, he has until the next day before Vera goes on maternity leave to sign the papers. And Will is like, well, what happens if I don't? And Vera just gives him that look, Miss Miles is in a lot of shit still with Sean Brody. He promised her last week that, the debt will be wiped because she jumped out of the van and let him take Mari to the secluded area. But he's backed out of it, so she still owes the money. And she has a little bit of a meltdown in the car. Jake jumps in and he basically gives her a shoulder to cry on. I'm absolutely loving Jake this season. I was actually saying to my friend yesterday that Will used to be like my favourite character. I used to love Will. It didn't seem to matter what he did. I just used to love Will, basically because he's hot as well. But, this season I totally don't like him at all. And it's not just because he's been sleeping with Mari. It's just the way he's been treating everyone, Vera and things. And you can't be manipulated to the point where Mari is controlling your job. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, but Jake has gone up in my estimations. Hands up, guys. Let me know in the comments box below if you think Jake has been awesome this season. Later in the episode, Jake goes up to Sean and basically says, look, I know what you've been doing to Linda and I'm going to pay the debt. Anyway, Liz. There's a lot of Liz moments in the first half of this episode. So Liz has a surprise visit, and when she goes to the visitor's room, it is Frankie. So Boomer has arranged a surprise visit for Frankie to come back and see Liz. Unfortunately, this is a very sad scene because Liz doesn't know who Frankie is. She can sort of picture her, but she just doesn't know who she is. And Liz, it was acted very well. And, I had tears in my eyes, Frankie had tears in her eyes, and it was just really sad. And then Frankie goes and has a cheeky little visit with Boomer, and Frankie just basically says, I thought she was getting better, but, she's not, unfortunately, guys. Liz is getting worse, and she's going to continue to get worse despite these magic pills that Dr. Miller has. And Frankie basically tells Boomer that, she has to concentrate on her parole that's coming up, as much as she loves Liz, just give Liz as much love as you can while you're here. Mari is making a shiv in her cell, and obviously she's making that weapon in preparation for her escape. And just as she's about to leave the cell, Vera comes in and she confronts Mari about Will. And it's quite a tense standoff between them both, because Mari's holding a shiv in her hand at this stage, and I was a little bit concerned how heated this confrontation was going to get. But Vera basically tells Mari that she won't stand back and let Mari destroy Will. Vera tells Mari that, you know, she felt sorry for her when she first came in. You know, she'd obviously lost her son. But the thing that I am liking is that Mari might be able to manipulate a lot of people in that prison, but she ain't going to be able to manipulate Vera. So Sean comes to get Mari, basically says that she has a visit, I think, and takes Mari away. And just as Mari's leaving, Mari basically says to Vera that whatever it was between me and Will, it's over. So Rita is under the impression that she's got a committal hearing today. So Rita's taken to a holding cell while she waits for her van to arrive. Unfortunately, this is all a ploy to get Mari out of prison. So the plan is that Sean is going to get some undercover men, dressed up as prison officers, into the prison with guns, and they're going to take Mari out in Rita's van and take her to a private jet. But Sean has warned Mari that the jet won't fly off until she deletes the files. So yeah, Sean is in the visitor's room, and these two men arrive who are undercover, and they pop a bag through the X-ray machine that shows what's inside a bag, and we can clearly see there are guns and weapons in this bag. So these guys they're in the prison, and they go straight to the admissions area where Rita is being held and Mari is being held in the opposite room. The women are all in the laundry working, and Ruby is having a bit of a dizzy spell, so Miss Miles gets one of the other officers to take Ruby to medical just to get her checked out, but the rest of the women carry on working in the laundry with Miss Miles keeping an eye on things. The escape is about to happen, guys. Mari is ready, the guys are ready. However, while Ruby is being taken from the laundry to the medical, Mari spots her, and basically Mari tells Sean that she wants to go back just to do something. It will literally take 5 minutes, so she's obviously gonna go and try and kill Ruby before she leaves. The whole time this is happening, Rita is in the other cell, and she is like obviously watching what is going on, a bit confused what is happening at this stage. So Sean takes the cuffs off Mari and they start heading back into the prison. Vera is coming into admissions with Liz for a strip search, because Liz has just had a visit from his son, and unfortunately it was the last time she was going to see him, because she told him that she had dementia and you know, she didn't want him to see her get any worse. Vera brings Liz in for a strip search, so Liz goes into the strip search room. But Vera straight away is like, why is Mari in this area of the prison? So she comes down and she's like, I don't recognise these two officers. And then Vera asks to see ID. And unfortunately for Vera, out come the guns from the bag, and Vera is taken hostage. It's literally this whole episode, Rita can see everything that's going on, and Rita's like saying to Mari, what the hell is going on? Now guys, this is when chaos erupts. So Liz is about to have her strip search, but she's having a bit of a psychotic episode again due to Dr. Miller's drugs, and she runs out of the strip search room thinking that she's going to be sent to the psych ward, and while she runs out, Sean is like, what the hell's going on, shut her up, shut her up. And then Vera manages to press the panic button, which sets off the alarm in the whole prison. And then Vera runs out, and she's obviously tied up at this point, but she's telling the officer that's trying to calm down Liz to radio red alert, you know. But Sean unfortunately knocks out the officer, but the officer does manage to radio through to Will just before she gets knocked out. So Will puts the whole prison into lockdown, and he can see on the security cameras that something not right is happening down in the admissions area. You can see the officer on the floor, you can see Liz freaking out, You can see Sean. I think he can see one of the other officers, but he can't see Vera at this stage. And he can also see Mari, and he's thinking, why the hell is Mari down there? So alarm bells are ringing. Sean is trying to blag his way out, and he's basically saying to Will that Liz has just gone mental and knocked out an officer, and he needs to release the lockdown so they can get this officer into medical. But just as Will is about to release the lockdown, Vera manages to run out, and Will sees it on camera, and he sees that she's tied up. Will refuses to release the lockdown, and Sean is very, very angry. So Vera's taken hostage. Liz is put into the strip search room and locked in, and the officer who's been knocked out is dragged into the other room and handcuffed to the table, I think she is. And the whole time this is happening, Rita is watching from the cell, helpless, because there's nothing that she can do at this stage. So Jake runs into the office to see Will to find out what's going on. Jake says to Will that it might have something to do with Miss Miles owing Sean money. So Will has a look in the workroom, the laundry, and notices that Miss Miles and the women are still in there. And bearing in mind the laundry is literally right next to admissions, everybody in the laundry at this stage is in grave danger. So Will rings through to Miss Miles and explains what's happening and tells her that she's going to have to try and get herself and all the women out through to the back door while Will distracts Officer Brody. And then when all the women get to this back door, Will release the lockdown very quickly for them to get out. So as the women are sneaking past Sean, unfortunately, Boomer's mum, May, drops a bottle of shampoo full of booze on the floor, which alerts Sean and the other officers of the women. So they grab all the women and Miss Miles, throw them back into the laundry, and take every single one of them hostage. Mari radios Will and tries to sweet talk him round by saying that Sean's gone mad and he's got a gun on me and he's threatening to kill me and Miss Bennett and he's threatening to hurt the women and he has to let us out. But Will just holds his own and he does not let them go. Sean is getting very, very angry at this stage. He's appearing very unhinged. So they take Vera out of the medical room and they stick her in the laundry with the rest of the women. And everyone who's been taken hostage then, let's go through a list. We've got Costa, we've got Ali, we've got Boomer, we've got Boomer's mum. Liz is in the strip search room. We've got Miss Miles, we've got Vera. Ruby is stuck in medical, but she can't get out, but she seems safe at the moment. And Rita is obviously stuck in the holding cell. But there's a lot of people who've been taken hostage, including background characters as well. Rita manages to use the intercom that's in the holding cell to get through to an officer, and she manages to get through to Will through the telephone. Rita basically tells Will that she doesn't know what's going on, but whatever is happening, Mari is running things, like she is in charge, and I think it's at this stage that penny finally drops on Will. So Will radios back through to Sean and basically says, put Mari on. And Mari and Will have a chat over the radio, and basically Will just says, are you trying to escape? And there's a bit of a long pause, and then Mari just basically says, just open the gates. So Mari's influence over Will has now gone out the window. There's literally no way out for them. So what next? Well, this is when things take a shocking turn for the worst. Sean grabs the radio off Mari and tells Will one last time to release the lockdown, and Will doesn't respond. So Sean goes over and points a gun at Ali, and even Mari is screaming at this point because she doesn't want to see Ali hurt or killed, but Sean is pointing a gun at Ali's head. But then Sean turns around and looks over at Officer Miles, and he moves the gun and points it right at Miss Miles. Is he about to shoot Miss Miles? Well, he then turns his head next to Miss Miles, and who is sitting next to Miss Miles? Vera. So he pulls that gun on Vera at her head. And one more final time on the radio, Sean tells Will to release the lockdown, and it's very, very extremely tense. Sean is screaming down the radio to open the lockdown, otherwise he is going to shoot Vera. And, you know, Will's trying his best to talk him round, but eventually, that's it. He literally points the gun at Vera, and in a very, very tense few seconds, he pulls the trigger. Blast! You hear the women screaming over the radio, and Sean is splattered in blood. We don't actually see Vera get shot, but he is pointing the gun at Vera, and we see this numerous angles. He doesn't seem to move the gun or tilt it in any way, and he pulls the trigger. And he's definitely shot somebody because he's covered in blood. So guys, it's looking like at this stage that he has shot Vera. The gun was pointed at her head. Oh my god, guys. This is how the episode has ended, and it's really, really left all of us hanging. I think loads of us are in shock, and I'm seeing on Facebook, everyone is trying to justify, like, oh, maybe he moved his gun or something, or maybe he shot somebody else. But guys, he didn't move the gun. He didn't move it in the direction from Vera. The only way I feel that Vera didn't get the bullet is that maybe Miss Miles, out of instinct, just tried to push her or cover her or hug her in some shape or form. I mean, let's face it, if there's a pregnant woman there being threatened with a gun and you think she's about to be shot, you try and do something, wouldn't you? So that's the only way I feel Vera would survive this. Because like I said, maybe I said to my friend last night, maybe Vera got shot in the chest or something, but I watched the episode again today for like the 5th time. And he's pointing the gun at her head, guys. It's at her head. Looking back at other shocking moments, let's look at B. She was stabbed about, I think, 9, 10, 11 times with a screwdriver. And all year, and even after season 5, people get justifying that B could still be alive. Ferguson was buried alive in a box, and we saw her rotten body last year, but people are still, to this day, saying, we haven't found out the DNA results, it may not be Ferguson. And now we've got it again with Vera, and it's worrying, guys. She could be dead. She could be dead, and maybe they will have to help deliver the baby. Maybe the women will try and deliver Vera's baby before the baby dies. Oh my god, guys. This truly is one of the biggest episodes that I've seen in a long time. But it was just that ending, and do you know when the women were screaming over the radio, those horrific screams, it really gave me shivers. Oh. You guys want to see a little clip of it? I'm only going to play a couple of seconds, but this is how the episode ended.
Sean? Sean? Open the doors.
It don't get any more shocking than that, guys. For this episode, I am going to rate it a massive, juicy 10 out of 10. It was absolutely amazing, shocking, tense, emotional. We had Frankie back. It had fucking everything, guys. And I've been reading interviews and articles all week. And apparently, next week's final is even bigger. Apparently, this episode that I'm reviewing now was just a little warm-up compared to what we're going to see on this Tuesday's episode. Hold on tight, guys. I may need a vodka for this one. So anyway, let me know in the comments box below. Do you think Vera is dead or alive? I'm not going to be doing comment replies on this video because seeing as it's the season final coming up this Tuesday, I am going to do a double whammy comment replies, guys. So if there's any questions that you want answering, anything you want my opinion on, I am going to feature lots and lots of comment replies in, I suppose, for the season final. Alright, guys, so get those comments in the comments box below. I'm going to be responding to this week's comments and last week's comments. Alright, guys? So stick around. It's going to be a fantastic season final. And I will see you all very, very soon.